Welcome to episode 3 of In the World of Women, hosted by yours truly, Jordan being Jordan. I am so happy that you're here. I am so happy that I'm here because I am tired. When I tell you I am exhausted, but I said, no, I must come. I must record episode 3. And literally, as soon as I finish recording this episode, I am going to my bed. But I've had to come here and have a chat with you guys. How are you doing? How's everything? What's been going on? Anyway, before we get into all of that, you already know what you need to do. Follow, subscribe, retweet, share, comment. You know the drill. I'm not even going to go through all of that. But yeah, I'm really pleased that I'm here for the third episode because as we spoke about last week, episode 2, we spoke about consistency and that's the aim of the game this year. The aim of the game is to be consistent. So here I am being consistent. So let's get into the first part of the pod, which is uh in this week in the world of women. But we're going to do it a bit differently today because I am recording on March the 8th. So it is International Women's Day. And who knew? Like, it's not in my calendar. Can we like maybe protest because we need to have International Women's Day on the calendars? We need to have, some PR around it because I only know it's International Women's Day because I saw a few companies post their post. I mean, at least they're on it. I had no idea. So the planning of this episode is going to be a bit wild. I'm sorry, I can't even. I had to put something together because I was like, how is it International Women's Day? And I'm only finding out about that in the morning. Like, maybe I'm not organized enough. Maybe I need to be more organized with my national holidays or my international days of celebration. But here we are. So, what I thought would be cool is to talk about some quotes from some amazing women because I was on Twitter/X. I will always call Twitter Twitter. I'm sorry. I know it's X now. I've not accepted that, but here we are. So I was on Twitter and I saw this Twitter thread. So Pop Base posted this Twitter thread and it said, in honor of International Women's Day, name your favorite quote by a woman. And the quotes were so good. So I'm going to read some of them out to you and just so that you have them. Like, let's celebrate. Let us celebrate these women and these quotes because they're brilliant. So the first quote is I mean, I don't even need to, you already know. Maya Angelou says, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. Let me say that again. Maya Angelou said, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. And that woman had a way with words. Oh my gosh. Like, I had where I used to live, I had like a poster up of just so many of her sayings. It was just, yeah, International Women's Day is such a good opportunity to really talk about the women who move you. And Maya Angelou always, always, always moves me and probably always moves you. So that's the first quote that was in the thread. Then this one by Giselle Pellico. Now, if you didn't follow this story in France of the wife who was assaulted by so many men because her husband was drugging her, you need to go and research Giselle Pellico, the strength and bravery of this woman. And her quote is, shame must change sides. Shame must change sides because she was saying she waived her rights to anonymity. She allowed her court case to be televised. She was giving interviews after court. She literally said shame must change sides because she wasn't trying to carry the shame of what her husband and these, I think there's like 50, I think it was 53, I want to say 53 convictions, yes, of men who assaulted her. Yeah. She said, I'm not going to be ashamed by this. I didn't do anything. It's that they should carry the shame and not me. What a woman. I think she was named like Times Woman of the Year. So yeah, and she should have been. and she should have been. So such a good quote. So the next quote is by Lady Gaga. Maybe a rogue entry, maybe not. Lady Gaga says some things, like she says some things. This quote is, some women choose to follow men and some women choose to follow their dreams. If you're wondering which way to go, remember that your career will never wake up and tell you it doesn't love you anymore. Lady Gaga says some things. A modern day philosopher, if you like. What a quote. What a quote. And what an actress. I saw her in what film is it? House of Gucci? Is it House of Gucci? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. She she should have won. I don't know if she won awards. I hope she did because that film had me at the edge of my chair. Lady Gaga, yeah, fire. Another quote here by Coco Chanel. Now I know Coco Chanel is a bit controversial for reasons you can go and research, but she says a girl should be two things: who and what she wants. Words to live by. You should be exactly who and what you want. Now, obviously, easier said than done. Obviously, easier said than done, but it's a reminder. I think society puts a lot of labels on women, and we feel that we have to live up to them, and we feel that we have to, carry those labels when actually we can be whoever we want to be. And I love that Coco Chanel reminds us of that. Like, what a absolute fire remark. In the thread, there were so many quotes from Barbie, so many quotes from Barbie, and that Barbie movie, I might even watch it again, actually. I might watch it like today, or maybe tomorrow because I'm going to sleep after I record this. But that Barbie movie had quote upon quote, like that. I watched it twice, and the second time I watched it was even better because I could catch more of what was being said. Um, Barbie, yeah, yeah. Literally did so well. I love that movie. So I've got another quote here by Eleanor Roosevelt, who says, "A woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong it is until it's in hot water. And let me tell you, Eleanor Roosevelt, you are right. I Women have this way of just meeting adversity head on. If you talk about resilience, sometimes you'll hear a woman's story and you'll be like, how are you still standing? How are you still standing? How are you still functioning? How are you still living? How are you still breathing? Because the resilience is that strong. I'll read this quote again. Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt even says, "A woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong it is until it's in hot water." And I love my tea. I'm a tea gal. What a quote. Honestly, what a quote. Yeah. Eartha Kitt came up so many times. Um Eartha Kitt, there's a video that she that goes around of Eartha Kitt that I see maybe like every couple of weeks, and someone asks her like, oh, you might have to in order to be in a relationship, you might have to compromise. And she's like, compromise? Like she laughs from her tummy, from her gut. I'm like, yeah, Eartha, yeah. I feel like a dinner party with Eartha Kitt would have been so much fun, but so intense. But I would have loved it. I would have loved it. I'm telling you, Maya Angelou, another one, another quote, still like air I rise. Like, obviously, you guys know that one. You guys know that one. Marie Curie says, nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. I love that. There's so much fear that people create around things they just simply do not understand. If we all took more time to understand things that maybe feel very unfamiliar to us, or feel like they are scary because we just don't know anything about it, this world would be a better place. This world would be a much better place. So I've got one here from Winnie Mandela. Again, I don't know. I've been to South Africa. I went to like did the tour, when Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela lived, and I was inspired. But apparently, I don't know the history, but there's controversy here. But I've got a quote from Winnie, which says, "The overwhelming majority of women accept patriarchy unquestioningly, and even protect it, working out the resultant frustrations not against men, but primarily against themselves." In their competition for men as sons, lovers, and husbands. Traditionally, the violated wife bides her time and offloads her built-in aggressions on her daughter-in-law. So men dominate women through the agency of women themselves. Winnie, talk about it. Patriarchy has done a number on women, but it's done a number on men as well. That the frustrations that patriarchy puts on women turns women inwards. So we start to hurt ourselves and we start to hurt other women because of the pressure that patriarchy puts on us. And Winnie Mandela reminds us of that. What a quote. What a quote. And let me give the last quote that I'll say to you lot. I mean, this thread has, I think, 2,000 quotes to it. Like, you guys need to find it. It's on at Pop Base. You'll see it. But this is from Julia Roberts. Oh, I love Julia Roberts. What a great actress. She says, "Women are not rehabilitation centers for badly raised men. It is not your job to fix him or change him, parent him or raise him. You want a partner, not a project." And on that note, I wish you all a happy International Women's Day. I hope you had a wonderful, I don't know when you're listening to this, but I hope you had a wonderful day. You celebrated, you rested, you chilled. Um, I did a TikTok live because I wanted more women to like celebrate themselves. And I had a really nice conversation with a lady who came up and we had a chat. We don't celebrate ourselves enough as women. And so, if anything, International Women's Day is a chance for us to remember to do that. So, yeah, happy International Women's Day. So, in this next section of the podcast, it's called Coming to You as a Woman, where I talk about some of the things going on in the community, some of the trending topics, some of the stuff that you see on the socials. I do a deep dive into them, but I'm not going to do too much of a deep dive this week because it's International Women's Day. Talk about one thing. I think this may be controversial. I don't mind. I think we need to stop the dating shows now. Yeah, I do. I think we need to stop the dating shows now because they're getting out of control. And the reason why they're getting out of control is because they are simply highlighting how difficult and wild it is to date. Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, Love Island, Dating My Ex, or whatever the one is. The list goes on. But every single show highlights how wild the dating market is right now, because every single show will have a character or two on there that are either insulting women because they are so insecure in themselves. There's a character who thought that they wanted something serious, but as soon as the show gives them exactly what they want, they don't want it anymore because they are emotionally unavailable. There is a character on there that has lied, either lied to the producers or lied to the person they've chosen to be with, and we are just watching the show happen. Like, what the hell is going on? There will be someone on there with a controversial storyline where it's the man with the controversial storyline, and the woman who he's chosen is having to be on national TV, global TV, because Married at First Sight, the one that I usually watch is the Australian one, embarrassed by her choice, embarrassed by the person who's chosen her. I think we need to take a second to think about whether or not these dating shows need to come to an end. We might need to wrap it up. We might need to wrap them up. It's too much now. I just cannot see women being embarrassed like this. It's crazy. And then also to take it out there and to bring it back. But, there's a global panic right now about this whole declining birth rate thing. But you only have to watch one of these dating shows to understand why the birth rate is what it is. Because women don't want to be embarrassed anymore. That's it. Simple, easy. Women don't want to be embarrassed anymore. And you watch one of these dating shows for an hour, watch an hour, watch an episode or two, and you'll see what the issue is. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be gaslit. We don't want to be lied to. And yet bearing in mind, these men have applied to be on this show. And they're on the show behaving this way. These shows are microcosms of what's going on in society. Watch one of these shows and you'll understand why the birth rate is low. That's what happens. Global leaders need to sit down in a room, in like a big cinema or something. Global leaders need to sit down in a big cinema room and watch an entire season of Married at First Sight. And they'll understand what's going on with why the birth rate is what it is. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say on that part. That's all I have. I don't have anything else. That's all I have. And the last part of my podcast, the last segment of this podcast, is where I talk to you about my women manifesto. That's the statement that I make every episode that we as women should live by, I should live by, everyone should live by. And the statement I'm going to make today is this. And I'm going to use Julia Roberts' quote in this statement. Women are not rehabilitation centers for badly raised men. We are rehabilitation centers for ourselves. We need to focus our energy on ourselves. We need to focus on doing the best we can, to addressing our triggers, addressing our traumas, and working on ourselves, pouring our energy into ourselves. That's where our energy needs to be. And on that note, ladies and gents, that is the end of In the World of Women, episode 3. I am so tired, but thanks for coming and joining me today. You guys know what to do. Follow, retweet, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you like what you've heard, share it with your people. Come back to episode 4 because I'll be back next week because I'm being consistent. I'll be back next week. But guys, I've been Jordan being Jordan, and until next time.